Imagine this. It's late at night, you're lying in bed, staring at the ceiling. Your partner sleeps beside you, or maybe they're not even there. The room feels heavy. Thoughts swirl. What if they leave me? What if this love doesn't last? What if everything I've built around this relationship crumbles? That fear, the fear of losing love, of instability in a relationship, is one of the most painful experiences a human being can go through. Breakups, divorce, constant conflict, they don't just break hearts. They shake the very foundation of who we are. Why? Because relationships are not just about romance. They are about security, identity, self-worth, and even purpose. When love feels uncertain, our entire inner world feels uncertain. This isn't just poetry, it's psychology. And no one explained this better than Abraham Maslow, the humanistic psychologist who gave us the famous hierarchy of needs. Maslow believed that all humans share universal needs, from food and shelter, to love and belonging, to self-esteem, and finally, the drive to become our fullest selves. He showed us that unmet needs don't just create discomfort. They create suffering, instability, and even illness. And when we talk about relationship instability, the fear of breakups or divorce, we are talking about a disruption that touches nearly every single level of Maslow's hierarchy. It shakes our safety because our future suddenly feels uncertain. It shatters our belonging because we fear losing connection. It wounds our self-esteem because we start to wonder if we're not enough. And it blocks our self-actualization because instead of pursuing dreams, we're stuck in survival mode. Maslow's psychology helps us understand why relationship instability hurts so deeply. And it also offers hope. Because if we can identify which needs are shaken, we can begin to rebuild. So in this series, we are going to explore relationship instability through the eyes of Maslow's hierarchy. Step by step, level by level, we'll see how instability shakes us and how we can heal. But before we dive into relationships, we need to first understand Maslow himself and the pyramid of needs that changed psychology forever.
Before we can understand how relationship instability affects us, we need to revisit Abraham Maslow's most famous idea, the hierarchy of human needs. You've probably seen it before, a pyramid with different levels stacked on top of each other. But it's more than just a diagram. For Maslow, it was a map of the human soul. At the very bottom are our most basic survival needs. And as we climb upward, the needs become more psychological, more spiritual, more connected to growth and fulfillment. Maslow believed that unless the lower needs are reasonably satisfied, we can't fully move on to the higher ones. Instability at the bottom shakes everything above it. So let's walk through it, step by step, imagining how each level connects to our relationships. 1. Physiological needs. At the base are the physiological needs: food, water, air, shelter, sleep. These are the essentials of survival. Now you might ask, what do these have to do with relationships? Well, think about it. Stable relationships often create a sense of routine and physical support. Couples share meals, create a home, and often regulate each other's daily rhythms. When instability strikes, when you're fighting with your partner, facing separation, or even sleeping in different rooms, your basic rhythms of life are disturbed. Appetite changes, sleep suffers. The body carries the weight of emotional stress. Maslow would say, if these most basic needs are disturbed by instability, It becomes nearly impossible to climb higher into safety, love, or growth. 2. Safety needs. The second level is safety, protection, stability, and security. In relationships, this is where trust lives. It's the feeling of knowing someone has your back. It's financial stability in a partnership. It's the peace of coming home to a safe space. But instability destroys this layer. Fear of breakups or divorce creates uncertainty about the future. Will I have a stable home? What happens to our finances? Who will be there when I'm sick? Maslow wrote that safety needs are deeply connected to our sense of control. Without safety, the mind spirals into anxiety, and relationship instability is one of the fastest ways to lose that sense of safety. 3. Love and belonging. Now we reach the third level, love and belonging. Maslow believed humans are deeply social. We crave intimacy, friendship, family, and a sense of connection. Love is not optional. It is as fundamental to human life as oxygen. When a relationship is unstable, this core need is shaken. Loneliness creeps in, even when the partner is still physically present. Fear of abandonment becomes overwhelming. This is why relationship instability hurts so deeply. It is striking at the very heart of our need to belong. Without love, without belonging, life feels hollow. 4. Esteem needs. Above belonging is the fourth level, esteem. This includes both self-esteem, confidence, competence, independence, and external esteem, which is respect, recognition, and appreciation from others. In healthy relationships, esteem is nurtured. Partners lift each other up, celebrate wins, and remind each other of their worth. But instability poisons esteem. Doubts arise. Am I enough? Why doesn't my partner value me? What's wrong with me? Maslow argued that without esteem, people fall into inferiority, helplessness, and discouragement. Relationship instability doesn't just hurt the bond, it damages how we see ourselves. 5. Self-actualization. At the top of the original pyramid lies self-actualization, the need to grow, create, and realize our full potential. Maslow studied self-actualized people, creative thinkers, leaders, artists, visionaries. They were able to live authentically, pursue passions, and turn life into an expression of meaning. But here's the key. Self-actualization requires a stable foundation. When love and safety are threatened, energy is drained. Instead of painting, building, or dreaming, the mind is consumed with survival thoughts. Will this relationship last? Will I be okay? Relationship instability doesn't just hurt love, it can block the very pursuit of purpose. 6. Beyond the pyramid. Transcendence. Later in his life, Maslow added another level above self-actualization, transcendence. This is the search for connection beyond the self, spirituality, altruism, oneness with nature, or deep, unconditional love. Stable, healthy relationships often open the door to transcendence. They allow us to experience what Maslow called be-love, or being love, a love that is not needy, not desperate, but pure, unconditional, and nourishing. But unstable relationships? They're often the opposite, what Maslow called de-love, or deficiency love. That is, love based on fear, need, and insecurity. This type of love never satisfies. It only deepens the emptiness. So when relationships are unstable, not only are our basic needs threatened, but our highest human experiences, peak love, peak joy, peak meaning, remain out of reach. Transition to next section. So now we see the big picture. Maslow's hierarchy is not just a pyramid, it's a mirror of our lives, and relationships are woven into every layer. In the next section, we'll go deeper into the third level, love and belonging, where relationships live at the core. We'll explore why the need for love is so powerful, why instability feels like a wound to the soul, and how Maslow believed unmet belonging needs could even lead to psychological illness.
Among all the levels of Maslow's hierarchy, perhaps none is as deeply connected to relationships as the third, the need for love and belonging. It sits right in the middle of the pyramid, not as primal as food and safety, but not as lofty as self-actualization. And yet, for most of us, it feels like the very center of life. Why? Because belonging is the glue that makes survival meaningful. We don't just want to live, we want to live with someone, for someone, among someone. For Maslow, belonging was not optional. He called it a fundamental human need. Just like air or water, the absence of love creates suffering. And when relationships become unstable, that need is shaken to the core. 1. Why belonging matters. From the moment we are born, we are wired for connection. A baby cries not just for milk, but for warmth, touch, and reassurance. Scientists now know that without love and connection, infants fail to thrive, even if all their physical needs are met. Maslow saw this too. He wrote that love is not just a luxury, it is a necessity. Without it, the psyche becomes fragile. Think of your own life. Have you ever noticed how joy feels incomplete without someone to share it with? Or how pain feels heavier when carried alone? That is belonging at work. It is the invisible web that holds us. And when that web shakes through conflict, distance, or betrayal, the human spirit trembles. 2. Two types of love, D-love and B-love. Maslow made a powerful distinction between two types of love. The first he called D-love, or deficiency love. This is love born from need, fear, and insecurity. It is the kind of love that says, I need you to fill my emptiness. I can't be okay without you. And the second is B-love, or being love. This is love that arises from fullness, growth, and authenticity. It says, I love you because I see you. I cherish you as you are. My love adds to you, not consumes you. Now here's the painful truth. Relationship instability usually drags love down into D-love. Insecurity creeps in. Partners cling, demand, accuse. Fear replaces trust. But when a relationship is stable, nurtured, and safe, B-love becomes possible. This is the love Maslow admired, the love that helps us grow into our highest selves. 3. The psychology of loneliness. Relationship instability is not just about arguments or uncertainty. It often brings with it the shadow of loneliness. Maslow warned that prolonged loneliness damages the psyche. It is not just an emotional pain, it is a deep existential wound. Modern research confirms this. Loneliness increases stress hormones, weakens the immune system, and even shortens lifespan. The body treats loneliness like a state of emergency. Why? Because to the human brain, disconnection feels like danger. In ancient times, being cut off from the tribe meant death. Today, being cut off emotionally carries the same primal fear. So when love is unstable, when belonging is shaken, It's not just sadness, it's survival anxiety. It's the feeling that the ground beneath us is breaking. 4. Examples from daily life. Let's make this real. Picture a woman who just had a fight with her partner. Words were exchanged, threats of leaving whispered in anger. That night, as she tries to sleep, her heart races. She cannot focus at work the next day. Even food tastes different. Or imagine a man in a long-distance relationship. Days without calls feel like abandonment. Every silence grows heavier. His sense of belonging wavers, and with it, his self-esteem. Or consider a married couple who stay together but live like strangers. The absence of love creates a hollow ache. They eat at the same table but feel more alone than if they were apart. These are not small inconveniences. These are signs of a core human need going unmet. For Maslow, this was as serious as hunger or thirst. 5. Belonging and identity. There is another layer to belonging. It shapes who we are. Maslow believed that identity is not formed in isolation. We become ourselves through the reflection of others. Through family, friends, and intimate partners, we find out, who am I? Am I worthy? Do I matter? When relationships are stable, identity becomes strong. Love reflects back the message, you are valued, you belong. But instability cracks that mirror. Instead of clarity, we see distortion. Maybe I'm unlovable. Maybe I don't deserve commitment. Maybe I'll always be abandoned. This is why relationship instability often spirals into anxiety, depression, or even self-destructive choices. Without belonging, identity loses its anchor. 6. Maslow's warning, the pathology of love deprivation. Maslow went so far as to say that unmet belonging needs can cause psychopathology. In his words, the thwarting of the love needs is the most frequent core in cases of maladjustment and more severe psychopathology. What he meant was simple. Most emotional struggles, anxiety, depression, and even extreme cases are rooted in a lack of love and belonging, the wound of unstable relationships. Think about that. At the heart of much suffering is not just trauma or loss, it is the hunger for love, the ache for belonging, the wound of unstable relationships. 7. The healing power of belonging. But there is hope. Maslow also believed that meeting the need for belonging has extraordinary healing power. When we feel loved, seen, and accepted, stress softens, the nervous system calms, creativity awakens, dreams feel possible again. This is why therapy often begins with connection, why support groups work, why friendships and stable partnerships can feel like medicine. Belonging heals not by solving every problem, but by reminding us, you are not alone. You are held. You matter. Transition to next section. So, Maslow's third level, the need for love and belonging, is not just about romance or friendship. It is about the human heart itself. When relationships are unstable, this need is threatened, and the entire pyramid trembles. But when belonging is fulfilled, the foundation of life is strengthened. In the next section, we'll explore how relationship instability directly attacks not just belonging, but also esteem needs. We'll see how conflict and insecurity damage confidence, self-worth, and even the ability to grow. And we'll uncover how Maslow believed stable love could lift us into true self-esteem and dignity. After love and belonging, the next layer in Maslow's hierarchy is esteem. For Maslow, esteem was not just about vanity or ego. It was about a deep human need, the need to feel worthy, competent, and respected. And when we talk about relationship instability, this level becomes especially fragile because nothing shapes our self-worth quite like the mirror of love. Two sides of esteem. Maslow divided esteem needs into two sides. The first is self-esteem, our inner sense of confidence, mastery, independence, and value. It's the voice inside that says, I can do this. I matter. I am enough. The second is external esteem, the recognition, respect, and appreciation we receive from others. This is the world's reflection back to us. I see you. You are worthy. You are respected. Healthy esteem is like a balance between these two sides. Too much dependence on external validation, and we become fragile. Too little recognition from others, and even inner confidence struggles to survive. And here is where relationships come in, because partners, family, and friends are often the primary mirrors of esteem. When that mirror cracks, our sense of self can collapse. How instability weakens esteem. Relationship instability weakens esteem in countless ways. Constant criticism or conflict eats away at confidence. Silence or emotional withdrawal feels like rejection. Fear of abandonment whispers, I'm not enough. Infidelity or betrayal shatters dignity. Maslow believed that unmet esteem needs lead to feelings of inferiority, helplessness, and discouragement, and unstable relationships are fertile ground for exactly those emotions. The cycle of self-doubt. Think about what happens when love feels unstable. A partner doesn't call back. Arguments repeat with no resolution. Promises are broken. Slowly, doubt creeps in. Am I lovable? Am I worthy? Do I deserve better? Or maybe I'm the problem? Over time, this doubt becomes a cycle. Esteem drops. Low esteem fuels anxiety. Anxiety makes the relationship more unstable, and the spiral continues downward. Maslow warned about this cycle. He wrote that frustration of esteem needs can create weakness, a lack of ambition, and even depression. The human spirit begins to wither under the weight of doubt. Daily life examples. Let's ground this in daily life. Imagine a young man who feels his partner constantly compares him to others. Every subtle comment chips away at his confidence. He begins to question his career, his looks, his intelligence. His self-esteem is no longer rooted inside. It is at the mercy of his partner's approval. Or think of a woman whose partner often threatens to leave during fights. Even when they stay together, her dignity feels fragile. Every argument carries the sting of, maybe I'm not worth staying for. Or consider someone in a long-term toxic relationship. Over time, the constant put-downs, silent treatments, or betrayals erode not just esteem, but identity itself. They no longer remember who they were before the instability began. These stories are not rare. They are everyday examples of Maslow's warning. Without esteem, human growth collapses. The link between love and self-worth. There is a powerful link between love and self-worth. When love is stable, esteem grows naturally. Partners encourage each other, celebrate wins, offer support in failures. Each word of respect builds inner strength. But when love is unstable, esteem becomes dependent. Instead of standing on 2 feet, it clings. Instead of confidence, there is desperation. Maslow would say this is the difference between deficiency esteem and growth esteem. Deficiency esteem says, I need you to validate me or else I feel worthless. Growth esteem says, I value myself and your love adds to me, not replaces me. Stable relationships allow growth esteem to flourish. Instability keeps us trapped in deficiency esteem, always hungry, never satisfied. esteem and achievement. Esteem also fuels achievement. Maslow argued that healthy self-esteem gives people the courage to pursue goals, take risks, and express creativity. But in unstable relationships, energy is drained. Instead of focusing on dreams, the mind focuses on survival. Will the relationship last? Am I enough? Why am I being rejected? Think of the student distracted by constant relationship drama, or the artist who stops painting because self-doubt consumes them, or the worker who loses motivation after years of feeling belittled at home. In each case, instability steals from the higher needs, creativity, achievement, and growth by corroding esteem at the foundation. The shadow of inferiority. Maslow also warned that lack of esteem creates a shadow, the sense of inferiority. People with damaged esteem may withdraw from challenges, avoid risks, or stay in unhealthy relationships out of fear they can't do better. This is why unstable love often traps people. They feel too small, too unworthy to demand more. The cycle of instability continues not because they want it, but because their esteem has been eroded to the point of silence. Healing esteem in relationships. But Maslow was not only diagnosing the problem, he was pointing towards healing. He believed esteem can be rebuilt through respect, recognition, and genuine encouragement. In relationships, this means speaking words of appreciation, listening deeply, supporting each other's growth, building trust through consistency. Healthy love reflects back the message, you are worthy, you are respected, you are enough. Over time, this stable mirror restores inner confidence. And with confidence, people rise, not just in love, but in every area of life. Transition to next section. So far, we've seen how relationship instability shakes both belonging and esteem. It leaves us lonely, doubtful, and fragile. But Maslow's hierarchy reminds us there is another layer that suffers too, the need for safety and security. In fact, many of the fears in unstable love, abandonment, betrayal, financial risk, are really safety needs in disguise. In the next section, we'll explore how unstable relationships threaten our sense of safety and why love cannot truly grow without security.